we win if I'm always winning?
Right.
I know all I do is win.
No matter what.
No matter what.
It's essential.
I win when we win.
Go ahead, Dr. Sabrina.
Yeah, right from the beginning, she had a vision. It was a daily elevation for essential living. That's that good intention. All you gotta do is listen. Creating magic during uncertainties be the mission. Dr. Sabrina Jackson, serving God must be a passion. Cause being a better person begins with daily practice. Love is the attitude, that's what we gotta do. Mental Health Mondays on Fox News in Detroit, that's Channel 2. Look us up, baby. Gon' do your research from Cass Tech to Eastern. Yeah, we've been in it for a minute. We've been winning for a minute. It's essential. How you living? For God. It's essential. How you living? In your mind. It's essential. How you living? For freedom. It's essential. How you living? With Sabrina. It's essential. 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 It's essential.
Afternoon, and welcome to another riveting edition of Speaking Life with Dr. Sabrina. I am your host, Dr. Sabrina Jackson, the people expert. You know, I help people with people, even if that person is themselves, because I say it here all the time. We think it's somebody else, but the problem when it's really us standing in the need of some care. And so I do that in a lot of different ways. I am a clinical therapist by trade. I am a coach. I am a speaker, a trainer. I am an author. I am the executive director of a nonprofit. I help nonprofits get started. I have a business called the Nonprofit Creators. I am a TV and radio personality. I've been in 14 movies. What else I do? I'm a mama. I'm a new mother-in-law, as my son has recently become married. And, you know, I'm one who plays hard because I work hard. But today, I say all the time that I know incredible people. I know incredible people, and I know we got a caller on hold. Hold on, caller. Let me run through what I got coming up real quickly. I'm going to be with you in just a second. Give me my first thing. We got stuff coming. So we want to tell you what we got coming. Oh, okay. So last week, I was a part of a national, actually global summit called the Thrive Summit. It was the 14th and 15th. I spoke on the 15th, and I spoke about the essentials of self-care, because I say all the time, self-care is a requirement, not a recommendation. It's something you absolutely need to do, and it's not something you just should do. And so in that, I talked about some of the key things about self-care beyond getting your nails done, getting your feet done, and getting a massage. You can do all of those things, but it goes a little deeper than that. And so from that, if you go to that website, you can still download my free gift, which is the Essential Self-Care Guidebook. It's about 50-something pages of tips, tools, strategies, and at the end, it gives you an assessment to see how you're doing on your self-care. You need to assess yourself. Mm-hmm. So I want you to do that, and it was absolutely amazing because it was such a broad range of different people who had voice to the whole things about what makes us thrive, because I think that it's important to go beyond being a survivor. After you survive it, how do you begin to thrive in life again after you've been through some trauma and some loss and things of that nature? So That's what we did last week. And then next, just a shameless plug. I am a speaker. I am a trainer. I am a host. So if you're looking for someone to speak life into your organization, into your event, at your conference, with your staff, give your girl a call. Just reach out to me on sabrinajackson.com, or you can go to my social media, Instagram, which is thepeopleexpert_, and we'll get you on the schedule, because I always say speaking does not have to be a drudgery. It can be fun, energizing, engaging, and that's what I do. So, got that going. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. I'm so excited that this coming weekend, this coming Saturday, November the 23rd, from 1 to 4, we'll launch my new fragrance. The fragrance is simply called Breezy. Y'all know I call y'all my breezies because we're cool like that. Now you're going to be able to have the fragrance. And we're going to host that at the Pink Diamond Beauty Mall, which is right on Livernois between 6 and 7. It's a big pink building. We're going to have food trucks there. We're going to have other vendors. You'll be able to get my books, but you will be able to get the fragrance. And so the fragrance is a fragrance as well as a lotion. I am so excited. Come out and hang out with your girl. And then next, on November the 27th, excuse me, November the 27th, which happens to be my father's, rest in heaven, birthday. And I will be celebrating that day with the Heart to Heart relationship talk show. And it's going to be on the 27th at 7:30 p.m. and then we'll go all the way to 10 p.m. And it's at Cola Lounge and Restaurant, which is right on Northwestern Highway in Farmington Hills. And oh my goodness, let me tell you something. We have real talk, real discussion, real questions. You get to ask your questions about relationships, because one of the biggest problems that people have is other people. So yeah, I'm going to be in the building. You get to ask your girl whatever you want to know. And then lastly, on November the 3rd, no, it's not lastly, it's another one after that. November the 30th from 2 to 4, we're hosting Inspire and Indulge with Dr. Sabrina. Inspire, that I'll be able to give you some words of inspiration, uplift, encouragement in this holiday season. But the indulge part is you'll get to do some shopping right over at Accessories by Stephanie, which is right inside Henry Ford Hospital in West Bloomfield. If you all haven't been to that hospital, you're missing out. And you don't have to go to the hospital just because you're sick or just to visit somebody. You can go to the hospital and do some shopping. So we're going to give you an opportunity to do that with this amazing, talented sister of mine. She's a jewelry maker, so the jewelry in there is absolutely phenomenal. And the clothes that you can buy. Oh, my God, I spent so much money. But I want you to come out and hang out with us. We're going to have a little libations. We'll have a little something for you to nibble on. And we're going to inspire. And then you get to indulge in some shopping. And then the last, is that the last? It's not the last. I keep saying the last. I be thinking it's the last. Is the She is Victorious 16 Days of Activism Against Gender-Based Violence. This is a global initiative. The UN Women's Department does this every year for 16 days, every day. Women from around the globe talk about gender-based violence, the resources, things to get you to understand about gender-based violence, the cultural implications, and then all of those things we still have to deal with in our society. And so yours truly, a lot of you don't know this, but I am a peace ambassador to the UN. And so in that space, I am Her Excellency Ambassador, Dr. Sabrina, and I am one of the speakers on December the 10th, which is the culmination of the 16 days. And so I am one of the speakers on that day. I am excited to bring voice and give purpose to power around the world and speak to women around the world. And so you too can join because it is virtual. And then, step up to the plate. I love that. Step up to the plate and break, heal, and empowerment event. And it's going to be held on Saturday, December the 14th. There is a ticket of $25, but it's put on by the women of the fire department. The women who are firefighters. And so they're going to have food. They're going to have mimosas, yes. But they have an opportunity for you to come and write some of the issues that you don't want to take into the next year on a plate and break it. Step up to the plate so you can break, heal, and then I'll be giving you some empowerment tips. And so all of those things will be available on my website. You can see the events that we have coming up. But I want to take this time and thank my guests. I tell you all the time, I know empowering, effective, phenomenal people that walk the earth that are doing things. And so one of the things we talk about here is how life and death lie in the power of your own tongue. What do you say to yourself about yourself? So I love to talk with people who are doing incredible things, and sometimes things that people don't even really think about or think that they can do. And so I have just such a sister with me today. Her name is India Ramsey Scott. She's a mom. She's a wife. And guess what? The other M word. She's got two M words. She's a mama and she a mortician. What? A mortician, yes, in the building. And so we're going to talk with her about her journey, about what even got her interested in being a mortician. What does it mean to be a mortician? We hear the words, but do we really know? We're going to dive a little deep today. And how does it impact her being a wife? And how does it impact her being a mom in this space? But just say hi to the people.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for having me, Dr. Sabrina.
Oh my gosh, she's gorgeous too.
A pleasure. Thank you.
Oh my gosh, she's pretty. But we're gonna go to our caller that's been waiting. Can we go to the caller? Yes. We don't want our callers to be waiting. Thank you for being a caller, and you too can call in. Hi, caller. Hello. Are you there? Are you there? You know me, I'll sing a song in a minute. She might not be there. Oh, she might not. Oh, she might be waiting because we told her to wait 5 minutes. Okay, we'll come back to her. What up, though? India.
How are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
And not only, she came in and she took the essential colors test. We are essential colors people over here. And she tested out as a blazing gold. That means she's organized, she's structured, she's punctual. She beat me here today. Because that's what golds do. Mm-hmm. But golds like rules. They like routine. They like things to be in their spot. And, they like their name on their stapler. And,
very much so.
Oh, my God. And they make a list for everything so they can check it off. So, welcome to the gold mortician in the building. Okay, so I just got to ask. Why mortuary?
Why not? There's not a lot of people who do what we do. And there is a great need for someone to take care of you.
Oh, my God. When you transition.
That's
yes.
Right. That's right. My grandfather was a mortician, God rest his soul. And so I was around mortuary science at a very young age.
Okay.
My father was in the business, my uncle as well. So from as far back as I can remember, I was always in the funeral home.
Okay.
So it just became second nature.
Second nature.
Mm-hmm. People always ask, like, you're not afraid to do what you do? And I'm like, you know what? I don't remember when I did see this. So no,
it's modeling. It's what you see is mm-hmm. what what you can do. So let's take you back. You're from Detroit.
Yes.
Elementary school?
Brady Elementary School.
Middle school?
Clifford Academy.
High school?
Cass Tech.
The best school on the planet.
Uh-huh.
What year?
2006.
Oh my gosh, she's a baby. She's such a baby. I came out in 84.
Okay.
Need I say more? Oh yes, you're right at home. Cat Stack. Yes. And so then what college?
Michigan State University for undergrad. And then for mortuary school, I went to Wayne State.
Okay. I heard they have an amazing program
They
there.
do indeed.
Yeah.
They do indeed. And then from Wayne State, I jumped right into funeral service from there. And then I went back to receive my master's at Walsh College.
Okay.
While I was, working at the funeral home. So kind of my roadmap to success a little bit.
And so how long have you been an official mortician?
Going on 9 years, coming up on 9 years.
9 years. And so what's your long-term goals?
You know what? I'd like to eventually teach mortuary science.
I love it.
I would love to teach and to give back in that capacity. Still while serving the community in the funeral home. But I think now, and I still have so much more to experience when I talk to some of the seasoned vets in mortuary science. You know, they've been in the business for 40 years, 50 years. They're like, oh, girl, you a newborn compared to,
yes.
We've seen it all. But just being that I am a funeral director in this, in the inner city of Detroit, I've seen quite a bit. And so I'd like to be able to give that back, in that capacity of teaching. And hopefully at Wayne State.
Oh, okay, Wayne State. I'm an alumni of Wayne State as well. Nice. Got my master's degree there in 1989. Oh, can't believe it's been that long. So when you think about this particular field, what do you feel is the biggest myth that people have about people who do what you do?
That you're in it for the money.
Really?
That you're in it for the money, or that you're trying to sell them something. I get that a lot. And what I tell people is that when I went into mortuary science, and if you're looking to go into mortuary science, it has to be your passion. You have to have a passion to serve people. And in this capacity, it's a totally different capacity in which you would imagine, you would serve someone. But you have to have a passion to serve. And it really is an innate calling on your life. Because this is something that, you're doing day in and day out. You're not only taking care of the deceased, but you're at that time caring for their family and walking them through, the step-by-step process. People come and they have no idea where to start, what the first step is. So you're walking them through the first step to the very last of caring for their loved one. And so many people think that, it's just you wear a suit every day and, you just walk around and you look good and you're just trying to sell somebody something. No, you really are. It's a high level of service that comes into this profession.
When I think about a myth, I think about how morticians are serious.
Okay.
That they never smile, that they are just hello. Almost like I hate to even put it this way, but like a darkness or a gloom around them as a person.
Oh, I get that. I get that often. I've had many people say, even people that, if I meet with a family, they'll say, oh, you're the funeral director? Yes, ma'am. Oh, you don't look like a funeral director.
You don't look like a
funeral director look like?
Dark.
I get that very often.
I'm thinking about, remember the movie with Bumpy Johnson where, what's his name? Lawrence Fishburne played Bumpy Johnson. It was called, was it Harlem? What was it called? And Cicely Tyson was in it, and she was what's her name? Vanessa Williams was in it. She was his girlfriend, and in the movie at the end, he went into the to a funeral, and the funeral director was sitting up on the. And he just looked so serious. And so that's what I think that a big myth is about people who are in that business, that they are just serious people and that they don't smile, they don't have fun, they don't like go to a comedy show.
Yeah.
So when you think about like you say, people say, "Oh my God."
Yeah.
One, because you're stunning.
Thank you.
You're stunning, and so I'm sure that goes with you the funeral director. All right. So, what things would you say to people to help them feel more comfortable with the fact that I am a full person and not just a mortician?
Yes, I am a full person, and people assume that when you're the funeral director, you are a man.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, they always assume that, it's a man that's going to come in to service them. I've had people come in. I've met with people and they'll say, "Oh, are you the florist?" No,
that's
I'm
so
not
cute.
The florist.
I'm not the florist.
So many things when I introduce myself as the funeral director or the mortician. And, it is a serious profession. Don't get me wrong. I mean, it's nothing to, you're not, when you're dealing with a family in this capacity, you're not walking in and you're not smiling. That that's not the happiest time in their lives.
Right.
So it is serious, but my job is to comfort you. And so if I have a very stoic, demeanor or personality, that's not bringing forth the best comfort. I want you to know that I'm here to make this process as simple and as easy for you. But I'm still a person, so I still want you to be able to let me know what it is that you need and how I can best help you. Mm-hmm. So I go out, I do all the things. And a few years back, I think I was coming out of a concert at Little Caesars, and I don't remember who it was, but when I came out and I had on, my street clothes, I didn't have on funeral director clothes. Okay. And when I came out, the gentleman was screaming my name, Miss Ramsey, Miss Ramsey. And I'm like, who was calling me Miss Ramsey at a concert? So I'm like, hi. And he's like, hi, do you remember me? And I'm like, I don't think so. And he's like, you took care of my mom's services last week. And I'm like, oh my goodness. So we spoke. And so, he recognized me even in my street clothes. And so in that moment, you're kind of like, oh man, the last time I seen him, I was in a full suit and now I'm in, but, we're regular people. We're regular people.
Absolutely. You are a regular person. Yes. And so you're a wife.
Yes.
How long have you been married?
4 years.
Oh, 4 years in. Uh-huh. Very good. And then you're a mom
of a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Yeah. Oh my God. Oh my God. You so busy.
Tell
my God.
It. Tell me about it. It doesn't stop. It doesn't stop.
That 1-year-old.
Well, you know what? It's the 3-year-old.
It's the 3-year-old?
It's the 3-year-old. The 1-year-old, he's still kind of, getting into his way. He's following her lead.
Oh, and she's leading.
She's leading. She's the
leading.
House manager is what I call her already.
That is so cute.
My hands are full for sure.
Wow. And so, what does a mortician do?
So a mortician does all things funeral service. So I'll speak for myself, As a mortician, I take care of the body preparation.
Okay.
So I do the embalming, the, casketing, cosmetizing, makeup, hair, nails. I also meet with the family. So for the final arrangements, preparing those aspects of the services. And then I also facilitate the funeral as well. So, going to the church and, directing the funeral as well as the cemetery. So everything that falls under funeral service.
Wow.
I do it.
So it's interesting whenever you start to think about preparing the body and being in the funeral home with the dead bodies, people always say, you don't be scared.
I hear it all the time.
You're not scared to be. First of all, I'm just saying for me. The dead person not going to do nothing to me.
And you know what? People ask me, though, well, what do you do when they make their final move? And I'm like, what final move? And people always assume
it's those myths that they hear.
I hear it all the time, and I'm like, that doesn't happen. That doesn't
What's a final move?
I don't know. I don't want to find out. I don't want to find out. By the time you get to me, you've
moved all you moving. You have moved all that you're moving. You're no more moving.
That's right.
Yeah. By the time they get to the preparation of the body and the embalming of the body. Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you know what? I think the other thing that's so difficult for people is that the horror industry has used that, people dying and what happens in a funeral home, and use that as a way to ignite the whole fear around a dead body and what a dead body can do, and that
and create those perceptions. You know, people create their own perceptions based off of those things. So it's it's always good to talk to a mortician. When you see a mortician out, say hello.
Say hello.
Say hello.
That sounds like a campaign.
Yeah, say hello.
Say hello to your local mortician, because people do have such horrible thoughts about, and then just things that you did not know. Like for me, I remember when my mother passed, I didn't realize that their hair still grows. So because the day she died, like right around here was not gray. But then when it was time to prepare her body, right around here was gray. And so we had to dye her hair because she would not come back and get me, because I let her those gray hairs.
So I'll tell you this.
Okay.
I've heard that many times as well. And unfortunately, that is a myth also.
Okay.
So their hair does not continue to grow. However, when they do undergo the embalming process, it does cause changes.
Okay.
In the hair color, hair texture, things like that. But then also, once you pass on, sometimes your physique, I'll say, it shrinks a bit.
Okay.
So your hair may look like it's longer or like it's newly rooted, but that's not the case.
Oh,
it's just
that's so good.
Some changes that
that's
happen
so good to know.
Yes.
It's the change that happens during the embalming, because I promise you, I was like, I know, because I found my mother. So I know the hair that I saw that day was not the hair that I saw when we went to go and view the body once it was prepared. And I said, oh, no, we're not ready. We got to get this hair together, because my mother did not like gray hair. And so I was not going to do that, and so I had the person come and dye her hair and get her together. But so, okay, I learned it. So now this is how I am. Once I learn something, then I talk about it like I wrote it. Like, oh no, baby, that's not the hair growing. That's not what that is. That is so cool, though. Yeah. Because a lot of times you hear things or even experience something that because you've experienced it, you really think that that's the thing.
Yeah, but it's always a reason behind it.
That is so good.
That's the reason behind it.
So what would you say is your greatest joy doing what you do?
My greatest joy is probably the immediate gratification that we get. And I'll speak to funeral service holistically. So on the preparation side of things, when you see a deceased first come in, that initial look versus after the body is prepared and ready for viewing, to be able to provide that to a family, it's a completely gratifying experience. I've had families come in, they assume like, well, I know we won't be able to view
the body,
and that's all. When you hear that, that's like, for me, it's like, oh yes, you will.
Oh yes, you will.
I'm to that. So it's the immediate gratification that you get. Or when you come and you sit before a family and they have all these concerns, it's just things that they're just not aware of. For many families, it's their first time experiencing a loss. So they don't know where to start. They don't know what to do. But then you sit down and you meet with the funeral professional and we walk you through all of these things. And again, we make it as simple as possible for you. We lay out the red carpet for what you need to do. And then they get up from the table and they say, oh my goodness, thank you so much for making this so easy. I thought this was going to be so much harder. I thought this was going to be like, and so, for me, that is my joy of knowing that I was able to make the load just a little bit lighter for you.
I love it. Okay, and so what has been the most challenging?
Working through a global pandemic.
Ooh.
That was by far the most challenging part of my career thus far.
I'm sure can attest to that. We got a caller. We're going to go to our caller. Hello, caller.
Hi, it's Patrice. Hello.
Hello, Patrice. Denise.
Yes, I met this beauty at an event, and when she told me what she did, I was like, oh my God, your occupation doesn't go with what you look like. And I'm so glad we're able to see her in all her beauty and what she does, even though some may say it's hard and horrible, I still think it's a job that somebody has to do and somebody likes to do it.
Oh, thank you.
But my question is, what do people not know or need to prepare for when it comes time to bury their loved ones, like insurance? Like, can you go into details like that, or do you just want to stick to what people should wear when they bury their loved ones? Like, people want to have people standing up in full gaiters and suits. Like back in my days, I know somebody that was buried in $1 million suit with $1,000 gaiters and a Rolex, and I'm like, what the heck? Like, why are we burying? Can you be buried naked for real?
Oh, that's so good.
So, you know what? I've seen a little bit of everything. So I agree with you on that for sure. You see, you know, some people they'll spin to high heaven. And then you have some people who, you know, they want something very mild and very traditional. Whatever is best for you, whatever is financially fit for you, go for it. But I will say something. I'm so happy that you asked this question because I wanted the opportunity to touch on this. Something that I would recommend for every person is to have life insurance. You need life insurance. Okay? Have your affairs in order. Speak to someone, you know, if you are going to leave a trust or, you know, if you have a will, you need to have your affairs in order. And I would go as far off as to say, do pre-planning. You know, meet with a funeral professional, a pre-need counselor, and prepare all of your arrangements beforehand because it's so much easier on the family. When a family comes in and their loved one has everything spelled out, how they want it, where they want it, their casket is picked out, their services are paid for, it makes the load so much easier. They're not bickering, they're not arguing about who's getting this and who's doing that. Everything is spelled out. So that is the biggest advice that I could give to anybody. Have life insurance and have your affairs in order.
That is such I agree with that because when my mother passed, the only thing we had to do was put the date on the tombstone.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
Because everything was already taken care of. The only thing I had to pick out, I had to get her hair done. And I had to pick out what outfit. And so I remember because my mother wore St. John all the time. And so she had this baby blue sequin St. John. It was so cold, I'm just telling you. And so I remember somebody asking me, well, aren't you going to have them take that off and give it to you before? I said, well, when they gonna do that?
Oh, you'd be surprised.
We gonna go from the funeral where people seeing to the hearse to the graveyard.
That's why I asked you to be very naked. Like, literally, what if you just don't want no clothes on? I mean, you want clothes on in the casket, but can you just really go in the ground naked?
Well, typically, out of the dignity and respect of the deceased, we won't do that, whereas you're not clothed. But if you know, we've had people who request a change of clothes. They may want their loved one in something for the funeral, and then they want to change it for after. So we do that. But I've had families ask for everything back.
So how do you... Okay, so wait a minute. Hold on. I just want to know. If, like, at my mother's funeral... Between the time that we close the casket and get to the graveyard, y'all can take her clothes off?
So usually it's for if someone is doing... so if they're doing a burial, for instance, they may ask for, you know, we want the shoes back, or we want the jewelry back, we want, you know, her wedding ring back before you close the casket. So that's usually the most popular for if you're doing a burial service. But if there's a funeral and maybe a cremation afterwards, then they'll say, yo, I want, you know, they have designer down head to toe, and they say, I want the shoes back, I want the belt, I want the Burberry shirt, I want it all back. People ask that, and then we'll just ask for it. We'll just bring in a change, you know, something to change them over into after.
Wow.
Okay,
but the requests are limitless. Let's be clear.
I believe
the requests are limitless.
I believe it. It's
thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Patrice, Denise.
Okay, love you.
Love you.
Bye.
Wow, because I remember, I think about what she was saying about how it's so many different things that they do now. Like, I remember there was a guy who was a drummer, and they had him sitting at a drum set.
Yeah. I've seen some very interesting things, some very creative things, I will say. Funeral service has gotten creative. It's not,
I think it's spooky, personally. If you a drummer, and I'm used to seeing you on the drum set, and I walk into your funeral and you're sitting at the drums and I know you're gone.
Yeah.
That's a bit much for me.
Yeah. I think most people would prefer the more traditional route. But you do have those who they want to see the other side of mortuary science, I guess.
And so I remember one, they had the lady standing up and she was holding her purse.
Oh my goodness. I didn't see that when I saw someone that was in they had the casket in the shape of a race car.
Yeah.
And they had the race car tilted up.
Yeah.
It was interesting.
Maserati Rick. And it was funny, I thought about Maserati Rick because last night I went to a party, and when I pulled up to the valet, there was a Maserati in front of me.
Oh, wow.
Parking. And I went, Maserati Rick? I said, I'm so crazy because, I'm just old. And I said, could that be Maserati Rick? And Miss Patty was with me, and she went, Maserati Rick gone, girl. That is definitely not him in that car. I was like, oh yeah, he is gone, ain't he? And so then she we kind of talked about that whole story about his elaborate funeral. And so now I think a lot of things people want are the doves.
Yes.
The doves are very popular.
Very popular. Horse and carriage is extremely popular.
Horse and carriage.
And now they have the helicopter that released the rose petals.
Yes.
That's extremely popular now.
Yes.
So,
where they drop the rose petals at?
So the few that I've experienced, they drop them over the grave. So that you coordinate for the helicopter to meet you when you get to the cemetery, and then they drop them right over the gravesite.
But
do you guys handle this, or do you have outside, or
we coordinated with it? So we have vendors or companies that that provide those services, and the funeral director will coordinate the details for that.
Wow. I've seen, like I said, Miss Patty is my bonus mama. Shout out to Miss Patty Turner, who is definitely in the business.
Love me some Miss Patty.
And she works with everybody. She just works with everybody. But she's mostly at Andrews. Shout out to Terrence Andrews, who is a seasoned vet in the game.
Yes,
and I've seen him do some tremendous things with situations that have come to him. And people go, no, there's no way that you're going to be able. And he go, no. That's what I do, boo.
That's right.
That's what I do. And so I do like the fact that there are people who, when certain things happen in the community, and we know that the family may not have the resources, that you have funeral services that will, they'll assist the family in some kind of way, and people help with gathering support for the family as well.
Yes. And that's something that is extremely rewarding as well, to be able to have a community, so to speak, within the funeral service industry. So when you have families who they may not have the means, of course, in most cases, death is unexpected. And so when you are not prepared,
especially with young people.
Yes, especially with young people. Yeah, so it's good to be able to provide resources that will help the family.
Thank you. Yeah. We got a caller. Hey, caller.
It's me again. And just one more question.
That's okay.
We were speaking about children. Like, how is that? I remember I helped my godmother, who used to be a florist, and I had to deliver some flowers to the funeral service, and it was a baby. It was like a baby doll. How do you deal with like the Sandy Hook? You remember how their caskets were all decorated, like with superheroes and things of that nature. How do you detach yourself when it's an infant or, someone young?
You know what? It took me a while. I'll be honest. When I first started out, I would not touch a baby. I couldn't do it. And so, it took me maybe the first couple of years, actually, in the industry to build the courage to care for a baby or a child. So, it is difficult. I think over the years, I've learned to detach, and it kind of goes into what we spoke about is being able to understand that you are a real person. You have feelings, you have emotions, and so when you experience certain things, even in funeral service, you may not know these people directly, but sometimes you do carry those things. When you're sitting and meeting with the family, and the conversation is carrying. Yeah, the conversation is heavy, and many times you carry that grief with them. So it is important to find ways that work for you or for me, to detach. I had a case maybe 5 years ago now, where it was 3 children that died in a house fire. And that is probably to date one of the most difficult services that I've ever had to do. And so you try to be there, you try to be strong for the family and be their strength. But again, we are real people. You have emotions, and now that I have children, of course, it's even sometimes harder. It is harder to detach, but it's something that in this profession you have to do, because if you carry everything home with you, I wouldn't be able to be a funeral director. No, you wouldn't. I wouldn't be able to handle it. That's a great segue into what do you do for self-care for you? Well, what I need to do is get your book. Ooh. And that's going to help me, gain some pointers, because I will be honest and tell you that I am not the best at having my own self-care regimen. And you mentioned, well, getting your hair done, your nails done, getting a massage, that is not self-care. And that is so right. Those are necessities. That's not self-care. But for me, what has helped me is the birth of my business. I own a charcuterie company as well. I saw that, yes. Charcuterie is the boards that have the pretty, the layout and the food. Your gourmet cheeses and your meats and your meats and all that, and cheese. All I think about is the cheese. Cheese and fruit. Okay. Yes. Nuts. Yes. Yep, nuts. Yes. And seasonal accompaniments with whatever that consists of. Okay. So, when did you start the business? So I started the business in 2021. During the pandemic? Yep, wow. During the pandemic. And surprisingly, I'm surprised I was able to start anything during the pandemic, because funeral service was so busy during that time. But it's the most organic business that I've ever had. And I say that because I started off my husband likes cheese and meat and that type thing. So for Sweetest Day, I said, you know what, I'm going to get him, or it may have been Valentine's Day. I said, I'm going to get him, I'll purchase him a pretty board with all these great things on them. And I started pricing it different, and there was not a lot of, or maybe I just wasn't familiar with how big charcuterie is. Mm-hmm. There was not a lot of charcuterie businesses at that time. Mm-hmm. So when I was looking into it, it was so expensive. Yes, like a mini little, and I'm like, wait, what? I'm just gonna go buy the stuff and do it myself. And I did that. So I went and ended up spending the same amount of money. I bought all this stuff, meat, cheese, all these things, created him a board, and I posted it. Okay. I posted it on social media, and somebody reached out and said, "Oh, can you?" Yep. And I said, "Oh, girl, I don't do this. I just, this was just fun." Yes, this was just fun. She said, "Well, I'll pay you if you did." And I'm like, "Oh, well, okay. Let me try it." And so it started from there. And then eventually it was other people asking, "Can you make that? Can you do a board for me? I'm having this event, or I'm having this small gathering." Small gatherings turned into larger boards, turned into grazing tables. So, I mean, it birthed itself into a thing. Mm-hmm. And so, have you created your own board? Oh, yeah. I make them so often now that I don't even really indulge at home. My family does. No, but I'm saying, do you like when you the board you use to be your own? So I have not yet. No, and someone else mentioned that to me. Come on, come on. Brand my own. Brand your own board, boo boo. Yeah. I always say we got to take it up a level. That's right. We got to make it so that the other businesses that want to do it have to buy your board. That's right. Mm-hmm. That's right. I have a good girlfriend. Shout out to my sister, Audra Tippett.
Ardrett-Sinet, but she has created her own series of boards, and all of the boards have words on them like gratitude.
Okay.
It's just so nice. And so, yeah, she's in Atlanta, and she's doing that. But I think that as a people, that we have to do a better job at enterprising what we do, not just making it a business.
Very true.
So, like creating books, or like for you, maybe.
Yeah. So what I did do, I've done a series of workshops.
Okay.
So I've had Valentine's Day workshops. I do private workshops where I go in if you're having, a private event that you want to do, or I've hosted a few bigger workshops where I'll go in and I'll show you how to make charcuterie, and I'll make it a very fun experience.
Love it.
So having the boards at these workshops
could be girl. I'm telling you, that's my whole thing.
Oh yeah,
it's how to monetize. I ask, I use AI. And I ask AI all the time how to monetize this particular thing that I do. And they come up with a list of things that I have never thought about.
Shout out to AI.
Come on, AI.
Yeah.
And so I made a list of things that I could have at, like when I'm speaking someplace on my table, that were $5 or less, and then $10 or less, and then $20 or less.
Oh, I like that.
And it was so I have all these things that I can begin to do, that because what I know about, and I'm sure you see this too, when people like you, I don't care what you're selling.
Yeah, they're going to support it.
They're going to support it because they like you.
Very true.
And I am so fortunate and blessed that people like me. Oh my God.
Yeah.
And so I need to find a way to make some more money from people liking me. But I got a question for you about younger people who may be interested in the mortuary business. And I know that you said you want to teach.
Yes.
Have you thought about maybe doing something that becomes like a nonprofit?
Well, so funny that you mentioned that, because I am actually launching a nonprofit in this moment, myself and a good friend of mine, the Ramsey and Rose Foundation.
Okay.
We're both licensed funeral directors, and we are starting a nonprofit. We're actually going through the process now, and that nonprofit will focus on mentorship and scholarships.
I love it.
And I've heard many people, or I've had many people ask me, is this just, mentorship or scholarship for women morticians? Because my partner and I are both, women in mortuary science. But no, it is open. It's open to anyone who is coming into mortuary science. I was blessed enough to have a mentor as soon as I got out of school, to kind of walk me through the steps of how to be successful, and just what challenges I would come up against. And so I think it's important to give back. I think it's important to give back. And so we're focusing on mentoring, because a lot of time, especially now when students come out of school, they don't have something lined up. You don't have a funeral home. If your family doesn't own a funeral home,
you don't know.
You don't know where to start. You don't have somewhere to go.
Is it a hard industry to get into if you don't have those family connections?
I would say so. It's competitive.
Okay.
Yeah, it's competitive. I'm blessed to have had the mentor that I had to guide me along the way.
That's
because
good.
It's not an easy road.
I love that.
And it's always been a male-dominated profession.
Exactly.
So,
I got somebody for you already.
Okay, sounds good.
I got somebody. If you need any help with your nonprofit, you know that I have a business.
And I just learned that today.
Called the Nonprofit Creators.
That's
we
right.
set you up and get you. And I've never submitted an application since the late 80s that hasn't been approved.
Well, Ramsey and Rose Foundation will be coming to see you directly. Thank you in advance.
I love it. Don't you love it when a plan comes together?
That's right.
That you did not realize was coming together. But I always say that God will bring you in front of incredible people.
Yes.
Because your gifts make room for you. Mm-hmm. And your gifts, not just the mortuary science. Now you were playing at charcuterie, and now it's a whole business.
Yeah.
And now you're going to mentor and help other people. And I'm sure there's some more businesses up inside of you.
But you know what? That's my self-care. That right there is my self-care. Entrepreneurship and giving back, serving my community, that's my self-care. So I may not have a regimen, but That's what works for me.
But you still need to do some other things that you are just prioritizing you.
Okay.
And not the you that's doing. Because at the end of the day, we're human beings, not human doings.
That's right.
And you're busy doing.
Yes.
So now we got to get you to where you're just being.
That's right.
Ooh.
I'll take that.
That was a good one. That was a good one. That's a tweetable. Tweet that. Tweet that. Because at the end of the day, we do get so busy doing that you don't just know how to be.
Very true.
Like to have a moment of, like we talk about mindfulness and meditation and prayer, to just take those moments to just listen to your body. Listen, like, do you work out?
Yeah, chasing 2 toddlers.
Okay,
that's my
good.
workout right now. I'll get back into it.
Look, I don't even know why I asked the question, because you know I'm the queen of I don't want to work out.
You know what? So there was a time in my life where I did not mind working out. I'm a runner.
Okay.
So I may not go to the gym, but I will run. Like, that's my thing. But now I'm running after 2 little humans.
Yeah.
So
it just changed the focus.
It just changed a little bit.
And then with your husband and 2 little children, what do you do to make time for your husband? Just your husband.
So you know what? We are, in this moment, we're on a staycation. We have a babysitter. We've had a babysitter for the weekend.
Ooh,
we're off work.
I love
so
it.
We weren't able to travel this week, but we said, we'll take full advantage of
I love it.
having a babysitter and enjoying a staycation. So once I leave here, I'm back on staycation.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And that's great
Being
advice
intentional,
for people, because a lot of times you think that in order for me to have that alone time, it has to be, just get rid of other folk and just get intentional about spending time and connecting with your person and doing things that you like maybe each other. How about that? How about that? This is Grown Up Radio right here. Grown Up Podcast. I ain't worried about them too, because they got a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old, so somebody know what they doing over there. Somebody know what they doing over in that household. I'm just saying. But I just think that it's important that we understand that no matter what we do in life is about balancing all the things in life and not just the work things, because really the work things will take up a majority of your life.
They will.
Even your family won't get as much time as your work life gets. And so I hear that word in my head, work-life balance. Yeah. And so what you just explained about taking that time to have a staycation is a part of creating that balance. So I commend you.
Thank you. It's not easy to disattach, especially with such a demanding profession. I mean, death has no time, right? So,
and it's happening all day, every day.
Yeah, so someone always needs you, or they always, need something, and that's okay. But you just have to be intentional about, this is my time to break away. I'm just not available.
And yes, I'm just not available. I need to say that to Miss Patty. Because when I tell you, that phone rings all the time. And Miss Patty thinks that I'm her personal assistant.
I don't know anyone who doesn't know Miss Patty.
Everybody know Miss Patty.
I have not met anyone.
Everybody know Miss Patty. They do. And I don't care what walk of life you in.
Yeah.
Because sometimes people will come up to us and say, "Oh, Miss Patty, I used to work for you." And then the person will walk away and she'll go, I don't know where they work for me at. Did they work for me when I ran the dryers, or did she run drugs for me? Just all kind of craziness. So it is a fun thing to be able to hang out with her. But she really thinks I'm her personal assistant. She'll go, "Okay, girl, I need you to do this for me, and I need you to write this, and I need you to do this. I do have several businesses myself, ma'am." And then she'll call me, "Are you coming over here when you finish with your podcast? Just come on by here." Because she got something for me to do.
She's an amazing person to know, that's for sure.
Amazing
And an amazing
person.
resource.
Amazing resource. And just a giver at such a just unbelievable level to be 76.
Oh, wow.
Will be 77.
Wow.
On her birthday in March. And so when she turned 75, we went to Paris.
Oh, wait, okay.
Because she said that she wanted to wake up in Paris on her birthday.
Well, isn't that phenomenal?
And so that's what we did. We all went to Paris so she could wake up in Paris on her birthday. but it's a blessing. And so how do people find you if they want to get a charcuterie board?
Okay. Well,
or they need their family taken care of.
Well, I am a funeral director at James Cole Funeral Home. So you can always find me there. That's where I am. But if you are looking for all things charcuterie, you can find me on Instagram at Grazing Hearts. That's GRAZING_charcuterie. And that is CHARCUTERIE. You can find me on Instagram, and then you can also catch me on my website. I have a website as well, grazinghearts.com. I didn't put the charcuterie in the website.
Thank you. Because I was still trying to get all the letters.
People always have a time with that charcuterie. So just grazinghearts.com on the website.
Grazinghearts.com. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you so much for having me. I've had a pleasure.
And get back to the husband. Just don't make no more. Y'all more babies. Y'all done?
You asking me now. Don't ask him. That's a different conversation.
Okay. But for you right now, you...
Yeah, we're on time out.
We're on time. Just a minute, sir.
Yeah.
Well, we've had a great time here today, and I'm sure you probably were thinking, how did they have fun talking about mortuary science? Well, we have fun when we talk about anything here. We do. There's a part. There's joy in everything that you need to embark upon. So as I close the show, I always say, this week I want you to spend some time saying something positive to you, about your life, about your situation, about your finances, about your family. Speak life to you, and you will see your life expand. Awesome. Have a good one.
How do we win if I'm always winning?
Right.
I know all I do is win.
No matter what.
No matter what.
It's essential.
I win when we win.
Go ahead, Dr. Sabrina.
Yeah, right from the beginning, she had a vision. It was a daily elevation for essential living. That's that good intention. All you gotta do is listen. Creating magic during uncertainties be the mission. Dr. Sabrina Jackson, serving God must be a passion. Cause being a better person begins with daily practice. Love is the attitude, that's what we gotta do. Mental Health Mondays on Fox News in Detroit, that's Channel 2. Look us up, baby. Gon' do your research from Castech to Eastern. Yeah, we've been in it for a minute. We've been